Villeneuve. Denis Villeneuve. No. It's Kilt-Man. Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, of course, the big news today is that James Bond 26 has got a new director. Genuinely confirmed by Amazon. We know it's Amazon who's doing this, and it's Denis Villeneuve to direct the next Bond movie. And actually, wow, a great, classy, elegant director with a very sort of visionary sort of style. Loves his cinematography, loves his huge big sets. So for all of us classic Bond fans, the Ken Adams sets from the Connery and Moore eras, big underground bases, big space bases, just huge big sets, highly super stylized. Villeneuve loves these. Just look at what he's done. Dune Part 1, Dune Part 2. Huge big sets. Arrival, huge big sets. Blade Runner 2049. Huge big sets and exquisite cinematography. The guy knows how to make movies. Now, I've said quite a few times now, because I've been asked to review the Dune movies, and I'm not a huge fan. Oh dear, Kilt-Man. Contradiction in terms. I'm not the biggest fan of the Frank Herbert novels, the Dune saga. I'm not. I kind of enjoy David Lynch's version of Dune. It's a complete and utter hodgepodge of too many ideas and not enough time to run with them all, and it doesn't really work. But I still like it because I grew up with that one. But Sicario, I think, is fantastic, and this is the thing which is making me think that Denis Villeneuve can do this, because there's gritty, urban, fucking angst and real super tension and violence in Sicario. And look at his earlier movies: Prisoners, Enemy, Incendies. Hypertension, very suspenseful films, dark subject matter as well. Denis, cheers, Denis, bit of Blondie for you there. You all know how much I love Bond. Massive fan of Bond. And Denis Villeneuve has said, I'm a diehard fan of Bond. I grew up on Bond movies. I love Bond movies. That's a great thing. You're not going to find anyone who gets the job of being a director of a new Bond film who's going to say otherwise. So let's play devil's advocate here. They're all going to say that. I love Bond. I grew up with Bond. I'm a Bryan Singer. Yeah, remember him? X-Men and Superman Returns, and it's showing his billboard, his own personal billboards. I love Superman. And look at the film he came out with. But every director who gets given the appointment for a prestige, hate the word franchise, but franchise movie, a prestige legacy hero and huge Leviathan saga of movies, and then they're the next director to do it. They've got a lot of big boots to fill. How are they going to do that? But they're going to come up first of all by saying, like, yes, I love Bond. I'm a massive champion of Bond. I love Bond. But Villeneuve is a guy that I did not see in the frame at all. We all thought Christopher Nolan. And I've done videos on Chris Nolan perhaps being the Bond director, and we know he wants to do it. He's tried to do it. He's done Tenet, and what's the other one? Oh, the one before that, which I always forget the name of, but with Tom Hardy and all that. Oh God, whatever. I can't remember. But he has tried to make a Bond movie, even if he shaped it around Batman. He's tried to do that, but I don't think he's the man for the job, and I've kind of maintained that, because I don't think Chris Nolan can direct action scenes as well as you want him to do. Oh, I know that sounds ridiculous. Oh, but look at the Dark Knight saga, which I adore. He can't do fight scenes properly. He doesn't film them correctly. And you want long set piece action sequences with, you can see these things. I know, yeah, Dunkirk. I know. He's done a lot of great stuff. But I don't see Chris Nolan attached to Bond the way that a lot of you guys probably do. But I do see Villeneuve doing this. And as I just said, I'm not the biggest fan of his Dune Part 1, Part 2. I'm not. They're epic sagas. They're on a huge, large scale, which is great. These are things which play into Bond. But it's the story itself. I'm not massively enamored by the story of Dune. So, that's beside the point. The guy did Incendies. The guy did Prisoners, Enemy. Sicario is incredible. It's so brutal. It's so nasty. It's so really in your face, and yet so beautiful to look at. His cinematography is par excellence. His mise en scene, long takes, they're great. You imagine him working with maybe a Sean Connery movie. That's what he could do. The big, huge Ken Adams sets, a big underground base, all of that stuff, and Bond with his adversary and the witty wordplay. I actually know who the hell you are, but I'm going to show you my master plan, and then I'm going to put you in a place where you can easily escape from. But I'm going to shoot it so fantastically that you're going to all fall for it and believe it. Music. Hans Zimmer has done the last three. Is it at least three Villeneuve movies? And he, of course, did No Time to Die, the last Bond movie that we've had, Bond 25. Daniel Craig's Swan Song, which is outstanding. I love that movie, but it's a hard one to watch now because of how it ends. And the fact that that it ends that way. I kind of thought that I would get round that because it's the end of his up and down tenure as Bond. Casino Royale's fantastic. Quantum of Solace has great elements, but it's so badly put together, so badly edited. But it's down to the writer's strike and Daniel Craig himself. So look, we have to. Bond movies have a release date, and you have to get them out there. It's set in fucking gold and carbonite. You got Han Solo's in there, getting chiseled in with a date. You've got to get out there. So I was going to say Han Solo then took over the writing. Daniel Craig took over the writing, and he says Quantum of Solace is it's down to me, but we have to get out there. I couldn't write it. I wanted the action scenes there, and I did all this, I did that, but it just didn't work, and it doesn't work at all. It's a travesty, but still, I find it very enjoyable, despite all of that. Skyfall, awesome. Mendes, brilliant movie, love it to bits. Spectre, god awful, hated it. Apart from the opening sequence, I hate everything. Oh no, the train fight sequence with Batista, which I do love that. But again, that's a homage to From Russia with Love, with, of course, the fight in the train against Robert Shaw. And then you get, what's the last one? Yeah, Spectre, and it's No Time to Die, yeah. And yeah, I do like that movie, but the new movies are not going to be like that. They told a continual story, which is a big mistake for Bond. Bond should be individual stories, maybe with an overlapping sort of overarching, gotta catch Blofeld, or maybe a new saga, gotta catch this guy. You can make it, but you just drift it in to various stories. You don't make it a huge character, dissection, which is what they did about Bond. And they brought Blofeld in as his half brother, the architect of all your pain. Fuck half. Villeneuve will not be on for more than one movie. This guy has a lot of other films to make, and in a way it's great that he's like that. He's a visionary director who can put his stamp on a movie and right, I've now done my James Bond movie. Enjoy it for the rest of eternity. Not doing any more. And I hope that's the case. That sounds quite cynical because, well, if it's great, come back and do another one. Villeneuve is a creator. He's not going to just stick with one thing. The Frank Herbert Dune saga, but he's taking all of that on board and trying to, he cut down, Dune to part 1 and part 2 because there's so much more that had to be done. And then Dune Messiah. And here's the thing, folks. So right, Dune Messiah, it's not going to come out till end of next year, so December 26. So that's we've got a hell of a long time before Villeneuve's Bond is going to come out. But on the plus side of that is like he will enter into post-production on Dune Messiah, probably start of next year maybe, and so 2026, or maybe back end of this year. I don't know how these things work out. But a guy like him, if he knows he's got this machine juggernaut he's got to work on, he'll be doing pre-production on that at the time he's doing post-production on Dune Messiah. So we've still got a good 18 months for any proper, real big, well, we're filming it now and it's happening. You've got a good long time. But for us Bond fans, we've got a director who loves great cinematography, fantastic scores, and brilliant production design. The Ken Adams stuff from the Roger Moore and the Connery era are second to none. His set designs are just to die for. Doctor Strangelove as well. So many other great movies which he put his stamp on. Which the films were better because of the sets that the people, the characters, the actors were performing in. It gave them a real sense of character. And it worked for Bond, of course. It gave spectacle. And of course, Bond needs locations, it needs exotica, it needs great outlandish villains, it needs set piece action, and it needs great music, and it needs something visually captivating to look at. That's what made Bond so magnificent for all of us when we were kids growing up. And there's many people out there watching me right now who are older than me, who grew up with Bond, and for them it's Sean Connery. Now I was born in '69, but I knew that Connery, or Sean, was the man. He is James Bond. Roger Moore starred as Sean Connery, as James Bond 007. But my favourite film is, of course, the one which doesn't star any of the great big luminaries. It's George Lazenby on Her Majesty's Secret Service, my favourite Ian Fleming novel and my favourite James Bond movie of all time. And because I grew up with it and it moves me in such spectacular ways, it's exciting, it's brutal, it's heartbreaking, it has everything. It's the one story, and it's very faithful to Ian Fleming's original novel. Very faithful indeed. And Lazenby, despite what any naysayers might spout, he nails it. And he's tall, broad, his fight sequences, the editing is great in it. And it's brutal, it's fast, hard, brutal. And you see a vulnerable side to Bond as well. I always talked about this, a vulnerable side to Bond. If you watch Connery, you don't get a vulnerable side. You watch Roger Moore, there's barely a vulnerable side at all. Anybody else, okay, Daniel Craig does do it a little bit, but Lazenby, he's the one who's got to, he loses his wife. He only marries once and he loses her. and we have all the time in the world. So it's a hugely crucial element in the whole Bond franchise for me. I've got a feeling that Villeneuve will manage to nail the elegance of all the earlier Bonds, the visual spectacle, the scope. Let's look at who worked with. Denis Gassner is the guy that worked with Villeneuve on Blade Runner 2049. You also worked on Quantum of Solace, Skyfall and Spectre, and he worked with a lot of Coen Brothers movies as well. This is a set designer who is absolutely incredible to creating eras, a real avenue into the world that your characters are now moving, in and without. Cinematographers that he's working for: Roger Deakins, who's also worked on the Coen Brothers movies, which are all sumptuous to look at. But he's worked on Sicario, Prisoners and Skyfall. So Sicario and Prisoners for Villeneuve, and he's done Skyfall as well. Now, Roger Deakins is an old man now. He is, and let's be honest, he probably won't come out for this. Deakins didn't want to do Spectre because I've done Skyfall, and I don't want to try to do all this all over again. So he didn't do any more. But Deakins is an award-winning cinematographer, and his stuff is sumptuous, elegant, huge, widescreen, panoramic, beautiful to look at. Villeneuve loves that kind of huge visual, panoply of his own, his own universe that he's putting you into. Soundtrack-wise, Hans Zimmer, as I said before, has done the last 3, if not more, of Villeneuve's movies, and the scores are fantastic. They are, and of course Hans Zimmer did No Time to Die. So there's a whole tying together of a lot of people who can move and shake within the Villeneuve 007 universe. So I'm absolutely made up with this because I love Chris Nolan, but I don't think he can pay justice to the action scenes and the sheer exuberance of what Bond in his prime can do. Bond. There's Bond again. Now, we still don't know who's going to play Bond. Of course we don't. And but I can guarantee, now you've got a director in place, you're going to get, the Bond will be named certainly within this year. It's got to be, if not very swiftly after the director being named. It'll be by the end of the year. A big Christmas sort of the announcement, the new Bond. Please Christ, do not let it be Aaron Taylor Johnson. I can't stand him. Scruffy fucking. I don't like the guy. He can act. Of course, I know he can act, but I don't like the guy, and that will be a real bad for me personally. I'll be like, oh, that's Bond. Oh, you've got to be joking, and it will pull the rug from under my enthusiasm. And I will just be like, oh, and then people go, no, he's great, and I'll begrudgingly watch it. No, I'll be there day one, of course I will. And he may nail it, but I just don't like him. I hope and pray it's not him. All the others, Idris Elba and Dan Stevens. Dan Stevens was the man for me. Henry Cavill, no, he's too big. He's too obvious. There's a huge problem with Cavill. Obviously, he's doing the Highlander remake, reboot, reimagining for Chad Stahelski, which will be fantastic. Russell Crowe is now attached to it as well, as we well know, playing an expanded version of the Sean Connery Ramirez character. But oh god, you had an Egyptian Spaniard with a Scottish accent, Connery. teaching a French-speaking Scotsman, you know. So in this version, you're gonna have a Russell Crowe who fucking cannot do accents to save his life. Don't believe me? Don't believe me? Here's mock Shakespearean English for Maximus, which I love, of course. And then Master and Commander, accent wavers a bit, goes into his own usual vernacular, but Robin Hood all over the show. Because he's trying to do an accent. So Russell Crowe gonna play an expanded version of Ramirez. Could go all over the fucking place, couldn't it? So, but anyway, that's Highlander. Chad Stahelski and Henry Cavill was always being like touted as being the next Bond. He's just too fucking big. He's too big for Connor MacLeod. Connor MacLeod's not meant to be like, you know, anything massively heroic and huge. I would say, if I was casting the new Highlander, I'd have Henry Cavill playing the Kurgan, or obviously the Kurgan inspired villain in the new take. Because he's just too big. I just don't see him as the guy who's got to learn the ropes and all that sort of thing. And speaking of learning the ropes, Villeneuve, all his movies have been about someone who's a fish out of water, someone that learns revelations about themselves and the world that they're inhabiting. All his films have done that. Prisoners, Enemy, with Jake Gyllenhaal. It's all about learning who you are. Sicario, again, you know, you are a great heroic guy, and then your family gets murdered, so then you turn into a hitman, a Sicario. And it's all about revelations and unwrapping the character that you are, who you really are, boiled down to your essence. What are you capable of? And Bond is that again. So Villeneuve can do that, and he can put Daniel Craig's tenure was an expose about 007, the backstory. We didn't need it, we didn't want it. Skyfall's a great point, you know, his ancestral home is outstanding, that's great. But Blofeld, Christoph Waltz, was a complete fuck up. And I despise what they did with all that. They boxed themselves into a corner and they couldn't get out of it. So it was just, and Daniel Craig clearly couldn't be arsed anymore. I'm sick of this. Kill me off. I won't come back. There's no contract you can do. It's going to bring me back. So I want a contract saying that I will die in the next movie. So I cannot come back. Brilliant, brilliant. So I give him a lot of plaudits for his integrity for that, because it was going fucking nowhere. It's stupid, you know. Oh, I'm connected to Blofeld. Oh, that's just bullshit. Of course, a lot of the ideas for the new Bond is we're going to do period set. So 50s and 60s set, Cold War era Bond, which Ian Fleming wrote. That's great. And a lot of us purists, I think purists who I just love the James Bond novels, the original novels. Yeah, you fucking love the movies as well. Don't give me that. You know, you want to see them. And I've talked about this before. You want to see those original Ian Fleming novels put on the big screen and told faithfully. Well, they're going to be crap. Face the facts, folks. They're going to lack the spectacle. They're going to lack a hell of a lot. They'll be gritty. They'll be very sort of in your face, which would be great. But Bond cinematically became huge. Everything's overblown. Massive set pieces, huge stunt sequences. You want to really go? You want to try and do that? You will flounder. You will go nowhere. It will just not work out. A one-off could be great. And this is the thing. Villeneuve could actually do that. He could do a period set in the 50s and 60s Bond. He could do that. But that would not be how the whole thing would transpire. And Villeneuve's not a guy who's going to come back and do more unless he's massively successful, obviously. And but he does artistic movies. Okay, Blade Runner was part of a franchise, a sequel to a cult favourite. Dune movies, attempted before. Jodorowsky tried to do it. Imagine seeing Jodorowsky's like 49-hour version, whatever the hell. It was going to go on forever, That would have been outstanding. But Lynch tried it and struggled with it. Villeneuve's the one who's actually tackled the books and given everything that he possibly could. And he's still doing it, of course, with design. So, I can't see Villeneuve staying on for another Bond movie after this. Because he wants to move on and do other things. And that's great, that's totally fine. You don't get many, directors who've stuck with well, there's a few, let's be honest. There are a few, but back in the early days, and then with Pierce Brosnan, things began to change, and different directors came in for each fucking movie, that like. But it's Hans Zimmer for No Time to Die. But No Time to Die was actually having a lot of fun. And here's the other thing, fun. Right, Villeneuve has said, I'm a die-hard fan of the James Bond movies. I grew up with these films, I love them, I really want to play in this sandbox. But what films that Villeneuve has done have been fun and just light, fluffy, with just, people getting killed aplenty. But it's all it's exciting, it's family stuff. Can you think of any? Oh, Sicario. We'll kill people's families. We'll have headless bodies hanging under a bridge. We'll have acid baths, big baths, bloodbath shootouts. No, he doesn't do it. Even The Rival and, a fucking Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal, the big friggin' tarantula there. What the hell? I know it's symbolic, but it's fucking frightening at the same time. He doesn't do that sort of thing. So fun has not been an aspect of his oeuvre so far. But I'm not writing it off because he's worked on Frank Herbert stuff. Imagine James Herbert's Dune. Now that would be something to see, wouldn't it? My God almighty. But he works with the material that he's got, and if he loves Bond, as he says he does, then I see no reason why he can't bring fun, escapism to it. And that's what we need. Do we not? Bond is meant to be literally out there. No guy could ever do what Bond does. We know that. Has it got to be realistic? Has it got to be he's got injuries and it's much lower key? You want the big spectacular OTT bad guys with bases and world domination plots. You want that, and only one man can stand in the way, and he's bedding everybody in between. That's what you want, because that is James Bond. Do it, Villeneuve, do it. Denis, don't let us down. Denis, don't make us frown. Now, I'm going to give up on the rap now, but I think I'm happy. In fact, I know I'm happy. This is going to be a spectacular looking movie with incredible sets. There'll be a great score. It'll be Zimmer. I can almost guarantee that. Or it'll be a Zimmer acolyte. Benjamin Wolfish, it might be him. But I think you're going to see a return to a huge Ken Adams style set design. Great big sets. Maybe a big base at the end, but you're going to have every other set is going to be huge and lit incredibly. And you're going to have the click-clacking of heels across a marbled or a glassed floorway. like you got in all the original Connery Bonds. And you're gonna get all weird archways and things and sumptuous sets. Just, oh my god. I'm getting excited just talking about it because I genuinely think we're gonna get that. The news broke, my son broke the news to me. I was lying in bed at about 2:30 a.m. UK time. And my son was downstairs playing video games, and the news broke, and he texted me, and the phone was under my pillow, and I was like, oh god. And I went, oh, what's this? I couldn't even see properly. Denis Villeneuve is directing the new Bond movie. And I was like, oh, okay, fucking oh my god, alright, fine. Put the phone back. Obviously, well, I was mostly asleep. And then the phone went again and again and again. Other people were messaging me with the same news from all over the world. I was like, oh Jesus. So I then engaged in conversation at an ungodly stupid hour. And I woke myself up really. I was like, wow, come downstairs and do a video. Be the first to do a YouTube video about this. Do it. And that was like, what time is it now? It is now, looking at the clock up there, it is now 8:30 in the evening. And so I was going to do that. And I lay awake, I thought, okay, yeah, look at the stuff that Villeneuve's done. Right, get yourself together. Right, come down and do it. And then and other messages coming through. And then after a while, I fell asleep. And I drifted into the world's worst limbo of nightmares. I had a succession of really vivid, horrible nightmares. And then I didn't wake up again until probably 9:30, maybe 9:45 in the morning. And my head was just blasted because I you know when you've had huge big dreams and you wake up and you don't know, are you still dreaming? Alright, is the world real? Is this happening right now? And you're just in fucking limbo. Well, I had that for ages. And then other people going like, have you seen the news about it's Villeneuve's Bond 26? And I'm like, oh yeah, I've got that. Right, reel yourself back in. Do the video now. Well, that didn't happen. And then of course, obviously, as you guys well know, I went out for a whiskey or several. Not shaken, not stirred, just literally neat. In the glass, in the pub, no ice, no water, just whiskey. And sitting outside in the sun as well. And then come back to indulge even further. Cheers you all. Bond is the best. I love James Bond. Don't change who he is, what he is. Don't make him a woman. Don't make him from another ethnic minority. Don't do that. Keep him as he's supposed to be. If you want to do a Bond who's black, then create another 00 who happens to be black. You want to make a female Bond, then just do another 00 who happens to be female. But James Bond with Scottish ancestry is white. He's the naval commander. Kentucky Fudge is still wearing his naval officer's white cap there. Keep the essence of, well, not just the essence, keep the truth of who James Bond is. Don't feel you have to move with the times. I don't think Villeneuve would do that. And I don't think, because Villeneuve has a big, huge part in the writing and construction of his movies. So I think he will play a huge part in what the story is going to be, which will be great, I'm sure. And I think he will put the fun into it as well. He's not known for the fun, but I think he might do it because if he loves Bond as much as he says he does, then he'll want to inject that in. You know, the one-liners, the quips, the innuendo. You've got to have that there. You've got to. And it doesn't matter about, you know, the way the world is. Oh, you hate words, and you know, you can't say this, you can't say that. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. Bond is the guy that can say what the hell he wants because he's saving the world every single day of his working life. Let him shag, let him smoke, let him drink, let him do what he fucking wants because he kills the bad guys and has a bit of fun doing it as well. Don't you want to be that guy? And don't we need that guy? For real. No, folks, I'm super happy. Villeneuve is, again, I said before, like I couldn't get into Dune 1 or Dune 2, but that's not because of his direction. It's not because of his style. I love his style. I love his direction. I just don't like the story enough. I don't feel drawn in the least. But Sicario and Enemy are incredible movies and very direct. A lot of subtext to them, but also very visual and powerful. He can nail Bond. He is the guy to do Bond. Here we go. Bond rules. Oh, he can't exist in today's world. Bond has never existed in anybody's world. Bond is his own thing. Fleming wrote him as a heroic anti-hero, an anti-establishment guy who's part of the military, part of the navy, part of MI6, and he's a super spy, but he does his own thing. You cut him loose. He's got an expense budget. He can do whatever he fucking wants to do, but he'll get the job done. He will do what a special forces team cannot do. He will infiltrate because he's shagging his way there. He's a master of linguistics, and he can decipher anything, and he's very intuitive. If that guy exists in the real world, in the secret services, in the Western world, and uses hairy words and maybe a misogynistic dinosaur, but he could save the world, you still want him to do the job? Or you're going, oh no, HR's going to come in there. No, you said naughty words. You pinched the secretary's bum. No, we're going to have you up. We're going to hold you up in front of the courts. I've just saved the world from a nuclear Armageddon. Not once, but twice before breakfast. So all you fucking lefty fucking morons, you hate you word. Oh no, I'm super offended. Well, fuck you. 007 doesn't give two shits about what you think. And like, all your LGBT fucking Q plus bullshit, all of that malarkey, screw that. Bond doesn't give a fuck about that. And I want to see Bond come back with that kind of zero wokeism. Come back, kick ass, have fun doing it, and shag your way out of trouble. Kilty says his piece, and then reaches down for the whiskey. No vodka martinis. They're not bad, I've been to many sort of do's where I've dressed in the full tuxedo, and with shorter hair. I've not done any since my hair's been long. It's always been short hair, and I've worn the whole tuxedo and been to casinos and that, like as Bond, or me thinking I'm Bond and having a vodka martini, shaking, not stared, and you're like, okay, well that hasn't done much. This makes you take over underground bunkers. You don't need fucking trumps, bunker busting bombs. Bit of whiskey, a bit of savoir-faire, bit of devil-may-care, bit of charm, and a fucking kilt as well. And again, Lazenby on Her Majesty's wore a kilt. I've said Hillary. Call me Hilly. Okay, folks, I'm going to do one now. Please comment below, let me know what you think about the news about Denis Villeneuve taking over the Bond mantle. I think he'll do one, and I think he'll do it spectacularly. If you set it during the period time, you can't really do a series of those. What actor is going to play Bond for a series of period set movies, 2 to 3 years in between? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because people are going to want them to go back to like a big modern day sort of thing, reflecting modern day issues. You're going to get that. It's as simple as. I'd like to see maybe a few one-offs set during the 50s and 60s and following the books. But they'd probably be more TV movies than big proper movies. It's Amazon, again we're talking here. It's just so uber cool. John Barry. John Barry is the voice of Bond. I know a lot of people are kind of like, oh, I want David Arnold back. Will David Arnold score this new movie? I don't know. I like a lot of David Arnold stuff. I do. Do not get me wrong. But I don't actually want him back. That might sound a bit harsh, but I want someone new to do something with Bond. Hans Zimmer will be the man, beyond any shadow of a doubt. But I would love someone new to come in. John Powell would be great. Could do great action and great elegance and emotion. Could do all that as well. So again, what do you think? Is it going to be like an epic 3-hour-long movie? Is Villeneuve going to do like it's Bond 26 Part 1 and then Bond 26 Part 2? Is he going to do it? Is he going to do it that way? Bond ... Sicario. Could be. You want a throwback. Modern day set, but throwback to the styles, the visuals, and the vibe of the original Bond classics. Where it's huge stakes, but one guy's waltzing through it all. He isn't going to be beaten to a pulp and fucking, done in. Clint did this, and almost every classic Clint Eastwood movie, Man with No Name, the whole Dollars trilogy, Dirty Harry, everything basically, he will get caught and beaten to a pulp and then be resurrected, almost Jesus Christ style, to come back with a huge, but unlike Christ, he'll come back with gun-toting, vengeance, But that's Clint. Bond has suffered in the books. Casino Royale being the major one, getting his bollocks fucking smashed in by Le Chiffre, Mads Mikkelsen. Wow, you took care of your body. Such a waste. And trash is Bond's bollocks. Oh dear God. I can't believe they put that in the movie, but they did, and they stayed although you updated Casino Royale massively and added loads more scenes and set pieces, but they really followed the book, took all the bits of the book and put it in the book. It's a short story, but put all that into the movie. Huge background of Bond stories and novels, novellas to glean from. Villeneuve loves the movies. He hasn't said about the books, but he loves the movies, and that's what we're all about, is the movies. So I genuinely think we're up for it. a new great Bond. Maybe just one, and then we'll see what happens afterwards. Because Bond's going to take a lot. You're talking 2 years at least before the next Bond film. That's the gap you're going to have when it's preceding a plot, a Bond. Otherwise, it just takes forever. And you get the gap. So who's the next Bond? Oh, this guy doesn't want to do it. Didn't really work out so well. You're going to get all that shit. Anyway, I've indulged a lot more than I anticipated. But thank you for your time. Those of you that stuck with this. But Bond is definitely coming back. You've got a director now. That's it. And it's a fucking big, great director. So that is huge. Bond, playing Bond will be announced within the next few months, certainly. This year, it's got to be this year. By Christmas, got to be this year. And then we'll get drip fed sort of little plot details, little bits and that, and you know, who's coming in. But you know what's going to be. It's world domination. Some bastard has got an army of goons. He's got people working in different countries, and Bond's going to go and investigate it, because that's what Bond does. Can't fucking wait. I cannot fucking wait. Bring it on, Villeneuve. Fucking ditch June and bring in Bond. Bond is the one, you know. Forget Paul Atreides. Folks, I've been on Shabby Kilt-Man. Please, in the meantime, and it's ever like, just have fun and indulge, be happy, and don't worry about hurty words in between time. So please, keep it kilted, keep it Celtic, and I'm going to see you all. And if I could do, you know, the iris, and I could walk in like that and fire a shot and have the blood coming down, I would. But I can't. I have no special effects, nothing. He is in charge of my special effects. And that's the best he could come up with for this video. Goldfinger, the raid on Fort Knox, Honor Blackman. What's she called again? Oh, what's she called? Oh yeah, Pussy Galore. You're gonna get that in the movie now, unless you've got a bit of guts to fucking say it. Yeah, do it. Innuendo. Lots and lots of sexual fucking, you know, frisson. It's all about that. Bond is built on that. Bring it forth and destroy woke. Bond takes on woke.